Hey guys, OG3 here, and for this video, I wanted to go over which top 5 Pokemon I think have the scariest/saddest backstories. This video will only go over Pokemon in Gen 1, so with that out of the way, let's get started. Mewtwo. We all know the story of Mewtwo, of how it went through painful gene splicing, but that really is all we know about it. Now, what if I tell you that Mewtwo originally came from a pregnant Mew? Well, according to the scientific logs found in the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island, it was thought that Mewtwo came from the pregnant Mew. Its embryo was found in the jungles of Guyana. If you don't know what an embryo is, it is an unborn offspring in the process of development, the stage where before it becomes a fetus. It was brought back to the mansion to undergo horrific gene splicing. Through the experiments, it got more aggressive and powerful. The head scientist that experimented on Mewtwo was Blaine of Team Rocket. Eventually, Mewtwo was able to escape the mansion and destroying it in the process. After all, the reason the lab was built left. Team Rocket decided to abandon the lab, but for some reason left some logs lying around. Honestly, it's pretty weird to think that the Pokemon Mansion was a facility designed to detain and experiment on Mewtwo. Anyway, now that Mewtwo ran away, he is constantly being hunted by Team Rocket to undergo experiments again. But this is a lot sadder than it actually sounds. While being hunted, Mewtwo goes through an identity crisis of being somewhere between Mew and human, thinking to himself that he is an abomination and has been isolated from any type of life. All of this earns him a spot on this list. Next up is Kadabra. There's a Pokédex entry that says a theory exists that this Pokemon was a young boy who couldn't control his psychic powers and ended up transformed into this Pokemon. Another one goes further and says that a kid just woke up one day, transformed into a Kadabra, cursed to hold a spoon for the rest of his life, unless he evolves and he gets two spoons. This leads to more questions into what are Pokemon and how did they come about. Did all Pokemon originally come from humans? If so, why are there so many different types of Pokemon? Does an obese bum become a Snorlax, while a perky, fiery person becomes a Pikachu? But anyway, let's get back to Kadabra. After a kid becomes a Kadabra, it is forced into a life of servitude, crammed inside a Pokeball by its trainer, or will be in the wild running away from a trainer. Either way, not a very pleasant life to live as a new Pokemon. Also, another Pokédex entry says it emits special alpha waves from its body that induce headaches just by being close by. Not only can Kadabra not be friends with anyone without strong psychic powers, it can't even get close by to them. I believe that is one of the reasons why Sabrina and Kadabra got along so well. They are both misfits and finally found someone they could be around. That is why Kadabra deserves a spot on this list. Next is Gengar, a Pokemon steeped in darkness. There have been Pokédex entries stating that it is a mischievous, and there are others that say it will take your life. For example, take this one. To steal the life of its target, it slips into the prey's shadow and silently waits for an opportunity. This is quite scary knowing that a Pokemon may kill you for doing absolutely nothing. Also gets its thrills by doing so. This is the behavior of a sociopath, which now we know that Gengar is. Gengar also gets its thrills by cursing people, meaning for the past of half its life, it will slowly but surely kill whatever it has its sight on, much like a haunter's lick, but that's another story. In the anime, it even shows Gengar flying, possessing people and other Pokemon. Quite a scary idea that your body can be possessed by a Gengar, forced into committing some crime, then the Gengar leaves and you are faced to deal with the repercussions. I got blamed for clogging a toilet yesterday, and that made me angry. Imagine having to deal with jail time because of a Gengar. This is further worsened by the fact that a Gengar can disappear and reappear at a whim, making it that much harder to get away from it if it wants to prank you. Next is Parasect. A discussion about Parasect is a discussion on its mind's long, slow descent into oblivion. But to begin this tale, we need to first start off with Paris. The Pokédex entry says it grows by sucking nutrients from the roots of trees. The mushrooms on its back grow by drawing extracts from the bug host. The mushrooms on its back are a name I'm definitely not going to try and pronounce. The mushrooms are parasitic by nature and grows by absorbing from the Pokemon itself. Also, The mushrooms tell Paris to go gather nutrients so they can feed. Paris just does the bidding of some fungus. Unfortunately, it continues to do so. Why it does so is because the mushrooms command it to do so, but they do not have full control yet. When Paris evolves into Parasect is where things truly turn sad. Parasect has become a shell of its former self. The mushroom on its back has completely taken over, and Parasect just looks like a mindless bot. In fact, look at its eyes. Look at them. The look of terror. Also, removing the mushroom at this stage will mean that Parasect will stop moving. I didn't say die, because it is already dead. It was just a mobile corpse before. Also, it has highly sought after because of the mushrooms on its back. It is said that it can heal severe wounds and medical conditions if used as a medicine. This means that there are probably lots of poachers that want this zombie. The Pokemon is constantly on the run, then, until it finds a more trustworthy trainer to help it out. Unfortunately, this Pokemon will walk till the end of time, being possessed by another, and a fungus at that. At least being possessed by a Gengar would be cool. Now, Drowsy is up. The next time you think of using Drowsy as a babysitter for your kids, think again. Drowsy is known to eat dreams and it loves to do so. It prefers the dreams of kids to the dreams of adults. It even says in the Pokédex, it rarely eats the dreams of adults because children's are much tastier. That is an exact quote. Drowsy was modeled after a Baku, a Japanese myth of a creature that ate the bad dreams of sleeping people. Now, Drowsy is a bit of a pedophile. In fact, the way it eats dreams is through the victim's nose. It is said that if you are sleeping and your nose itches, there's probably a Drowsy standing over you. Now, I think this leaves a lot of disturbing questions unanswered. First, how are you supposed to know if your nose is itchy if you're asleep? Second, does that mean Drowsy performs mouth to nose or trunk to nose on all its victims? Third, how long does it perform trunk to nose on its victims? See what I mean? More disturbing questions. Also, I feel like having your dreams eaten is way less traumatic than if you woke up to a wild Drowsy sucking on your nose. Anyway, guys, this is my top 5 list. If you think you have a better list, I honestly don't care too much, but comment it below. I'll definitely see it then. I will probably say something sarcastic too. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening and have a nice day. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Peace!